that this made me a bad, terrible, shameful human. Hey you guys, it's Mary from Mary's Cup of Tea. Okay, so check out this setting. I am literally at a hotel gym in San Jose, California, and I have my camera strapped onto a lat pull-down machine. Meanwhile, I am balancing on like one butt cheek, because you know how like the workout machines have like a little tiny seat? I'm balancing on like one side of my butt to sit here and talk to you because I got super inspired of one critical turning point in my competing journey and my recovery journey and my like anti-diet self-love and confidence journey. This one critical point that I haven't yet talked about, and it just hit me that this was the turning point for me to quit competing, quit running my body down to the ground, and start loving myself and start doing some really deep inner work, because this was the moment that I realized that being thin, being fit, or having the perfect body would no longer make me happy. Basically what happened was that March and April I was training for a bikini competition. It was supposed to be my third show, and I was training for this, and for some reason I couldn't do it. My heart was no longer in it. I kept self-sabotaging. I was so depressed. This is when I started facing a lot of health conditions. I got 2 kidney infections in a row. I was in the hospital. I have a video on this about steroids and bikini fitness competitions, so I won't get into that here, but if you're curious, I'll link it down below. But in short, I was taking some big girl supplements because I was so desperate to cut down and get super duper lean for the show that I had coming up in April. So March, things started like getting really, really hard for me because I was training for a show. I was supposed to step on stage in a bikini and compete 6 weeks later, and meanwhile I was eating an entire box of cereal and spooning peanut butter, like a jar of peanut butter in one night. And I just like could not bring myself to stop eating, and I thought something was wrong with me. So March and April, I covered it. So I would post old pictures on social media. I still told my coach that I was training and following my meal plan, my diet, and I was just lying to myself. I was lying to everybody around me, when in reality I was coming home that night and literally eating an entire jar of peanut butter, an entire box of cereal, an entire loaf of bread with an entire stick of butter. Like, I had terrible, crazy binges, and they scared me so much because I felt so out of control. Like, I felt so lost and out of control and ashamed, because here I was supposed to be portraying this like bikini fitness girl. So I covered it up March, April, and then come May, it came to a point where my coach kind of knew that I wasn't losing any weight. I wasn't getting any leaner. So he asked me, he's like, what's going on? What's happening? And I was honest with him. I was like, I don't know what's happening. I can't stop binging. I'm not even hungry. I don't know if I want to do this. And every time he would like re-motivate me, and then the next morning I'd wake up, I'd starve for a day, but then the day after, it would all start happening all over again. So about end of May, beginning of June, I started seeing a naturopath. And the reason why I started seeing a naturopath is because I was really resistant to therapy at this time. And I honestly thought that nothing was wrong with me, that I just lacked willpower, that I lacked discipline, that I was just out of control. And here's what I blamed it on. I read somewhere on the internet that you are binge eating because you're vitamin deficient. So I was like, oh, I'm probably vitamin B deficient. So I sought out a naturopath to give me like vitamin injections. Like, you know, when they inject vitamins straight into your bloodstream. So I found a naturopath and I started going to her, and me and her got really close. And ironically enough, she actually used to compete, went through a very similar thing that I did. So she started opening up to me about what she went through. She started talking to me about some of the emotional stuff that was underneath. And yeah, she did my vitamin injections, but she kept telling me over and over and over again that I need to stop doing this, I need to stop competing, I need to stop doing fasted cardio, I need to stop restricting my breakfast because it's just going to end up leading to a binge. And so she was giving me very loving advice throughout this journey. But I remember there was one time I was in her office that was just a crazy turning point. It was when I really made the decision to stop competing and start healing. So I'm sitting in her office, and I am like, so she's a naturopath, so she has a cool office, and I have like a pillow like clenching my stomach because I always sat, like I never sat without something covering my body. So I'm just sitting, I'm like clenching one of her pillows, just like trying to cover up my midsection. And I remember I'm like rocking back and forth, and she's writing notes on something. She's writing. And I'm like, I just don't understand. Why do I keep binge eating? Like, I just need this to stop. I was so frustrated. This was going on for about 2 to 3 months at this point, like nonstop. So I'm sitting there, I'm crying. I'm just like, I'm so upset. And she's shaking her head and she's like, honey, you're so stressed. And I kind of lost it a little bit. I was like, what the hell? And this was June. So I was out of school. I didn't have university. I didn't have homework. I didn't work that much. Everything was going great. I had good relationships. I had my family. I had my friends. Like, I was relaxed. I'm living in Arizona, which is like a really nice place to live. Like, I didn't see that there was anything to be stressed about. So I kind of lost it on her. I'm like, I am not stressed. There's nothing to be stressed about. I don't know what's going on. I'm not stressed. Everything's perfect. It's just the binge eating. I'm only stressed about the fact that I binge eat every goddamn day. And I broke down. I'm crying. I have chills just remembering that moment, because I literally thought that the problem was that I didn't have self-control, that I was just deficient, that there was something in my character. I literally thought that this made me a bad, terrible, shameful human. And so I'm broken down and I'm sitting, I'm rocking back and forth, like holding this pillow. And she shakes her head and she's like, worrying about what other people think about you all the time is fucking stressful. And that hit me so hard. And when she pointed that out to me, I knew that there was no way that I would heal that part of myself that wanted everybody to like me, that wanted everybody to think I look good, that wanted everybody to like admire my body. I knew that I could not heal that unless I stopped doing that. I was just so blinded by the industry. I was so blinded by this world that I didn't realize that everything that I was doing to myself, to my body, all that torture, going through like the mental, emotional, and physical pain just for validation, just for likes on an Instagram photo, just for some guy to tell me that he liked my ass, just to come up on stage and compare my butt to other girls' butt by old men judges. I didn't realize that all these things I was doing was the epitome of being afraid and stressed about what other people thought about me. And when my naturopath highlighted that to me, it gave me a signal that I have a lot of work to do on myself. That fitness has just been a mask. It's been not only a mask for my eating disorder, but it was also a mask for my abandonment issues, for my loneliness struggles, for my people pleaser, for my inability to be myself and be comfortable and confident with who I was as a human outside of my body. And I'm sharing this with you because there's going to be a certain point in your life where you're going to look back at what you've been doing the past year or 2 years, or maybe even now you're stuck in a trap of like dieting, restricting, not liking your body, like trying to do this whole affirmation, love yourself thing, but at the end of the day still looking at the mirror and thinking how much you hate yourself and hating your body and not feeling comfortable and thinking that you're just doomed with insecurities. Like there's going to be that moment where you look back and you think, no, there is more for me. But there's more for me only if I choose me. Only if I choose that deeper inner work, that healing. And I know this is deep stuff. And I know that it's not comfortable, that it's so much easier to think like, oh yeah, I'm working on myself because I'm running on the treadmill. But no, that is working out, and you got to start working in. And I just want to invite you to see a little bit deeper and realize that there's so much more to our personal growth, to our health, to our happiness, to our life than running on the treadmill, than dieting, than worrying about what other people think about you, because that is stressful, you guys. That's stressful. That maybe right now you're thinking that is the reason why I have a hard relationship with food. That's the reason why I don't like my body and I struggle with my relationship with my own self, my physical vessel. Healing only lies when you commit to working in instead of relying on working out, instead of relying on the external. It has to be about you on the inside. That's where confidence comes from. That's where self-love comes from. That's where healing all body image and food struggles comes from. It comes from within. So please let me know if you can relate. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be posting new videos like this every single week to help you deepen your own self-love and create confidence in your life. So I will talk to you guys later. I love you so much. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I don't know how to blow kisses.